Welcome to Book Talks, from books to Botox and everything in between. We hope you enjoy. We're just girls. So we're going to do a wedding episode today.
We're so excited.
Welcome, Heather. How are you?
Hi.
Love you guys. Hello.
Welcome to Book Talks.
Welcome back to Book Talks. We're happy to be back.
So we have Heather here with us, our go-to girl for all things wedding.
Yes, she helps us here out at the med spa with literally everything. She keeps our heads on top of our bodies, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And she's also our go-to girl for everything wedding. So
Yeah.
we're going to do a wedding episode today.
We're so excited.
Welcome, Heather. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I'm excited to spend a day at MD Beauty Club again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Saturday. It's fun to chillax.
It
I know.
really
Do
is.
the podcast.
So Ashley is about a month. We're going to say a month out from her wedding because in Italy, doesn't everything close?
Yeah, that's my biggest struggle right now. So we're officially 51 days out from my wedding, which is crazy. I don't know how we got this close. But my problem is we're getting married in early September, and in Italy, everything closes for the month of August. So I have to pretend my wedding date is July 31st, which is so fun and fresh and cute and adorable for me because I'm acting like I'm 2 weeks out from my wedding, trying to get all these details finalized and like talk to all these vendors. But all these vendors are like vacation mode. They're like, yeah, I'll get to it. Like I have vacation next week. And I'm like, no, you have to get to it today. Thank you.
I'm so dead that I can't believe that you're literally like a month out. How do you feel?
Insane. I feel insane,
Yeah.
to be so frank. Like I totally understand why women become bridezillas.
Yeah.
I totally understand like the stress of it. Why I understand why people elope. I get it. Like I'm
Yeah.
so excited. I know the day's going to be great and I'm just beyond excited to get there, but I hate wedding planning. I hate it. I'll say
Yeah.
it with my chest. I hate wedding planning.
I think if you love wedding planner, you're either one, a wedding planner, or you're two, psychotic.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
I
they're-
fall into the wedding planning
Yeah,
category. Just wanna make
exactly.
that
Heather's
clear.
like, I'm D, all of the above. Just kidding.
but like, it's so crazy, especially, you know, Heather, I'm sure you see this, but like, the last month before your wedding, it's so crazy and it's like go time for the brides. And I feel like
Yeah.
it's just so much stress. And it sucks because I feel like the month before you want to like literally relax and like feel glowy and look, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's just.
How did you handle right before your wedding?
I had a pretty good for our wedding. I didn't
awesome.
feel too stressed out,
Yeah.
but I do think it is different when it's your own family dynamic.
Yeah.
I will say, since I've worked weddings, I think that it's way easier the month leading up to the wedding than it was emotionally for myself when it was my wedding.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest thing for brides is that you also then have all these voices of
Yeah.
all these family and friends, and then you know people that are late RSVP
Yeah.
and haven't gotten a bridesmaid's dress,
Yeah.
or you're
Yep.
having to dress all these other people that weren't a part of your wedding
Yeah.
party. But now if you want it to look cohesive for
Yeah.
family photos, you better help grandma pick
Yeah.
out her
Yeah.
outfit. And so it's just all those things. And
Yeah.
It's so true.
so it's all the little things that come up that weren't really initially a part of the wedding plan.
Yeah.
But if you've got a great wedding planner too, they're also helping you along the way with
Exactly.
all,
It's so
all
true.
the other details with wedding vendors that you can control from that aspect
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
it.
I mean, like, the piece of advice that I got when I first started wedding planning is like splurge on your wedding planner. And I think that was like really hard for me to absorb and actually take that advice because I feel like when you go into wedding planning, you're like, I don't need to pay that much for a wedding planner. Like,
Right.
that's crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, people always say that. And I felt that at first, but I hope and I doubt that I'll feel that way when, you know, things start to roll and my wedding planner is like, you know.
It's so helpful because
Yeah.
I was just talking to Heather about this the other day. My go-to saying for all of wedding planning has been, I don't know what I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. I've never been married. I've never planned a wedding. I've never
Yeah.
helped plan a wedding. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know what I don't know. And my wedding planner's like, hey, you need to do X, Y, Z. And I'm
Exactly.
like, I never would have thought of that.
Exactly. Like
So
you
it is
literally-
really helpful.
There's a lot of stuff that like that is in the industry that I feel like you just don't know. You
Yeah.
know? It's crazy.
How are you in all things wedding planning? Where are you at?
I have been so my wedding is next year in November 15th,
So
2025.
exciting.
And I've kind of taken a back seat because I'm going to Ashley's wedding in Italy. So I'm really just focused on enjoying my Europe trip. And then when I get back, I want to like hit the ground running with wedding stuff again. My best friend is getting married in May. So that's kind of tricky for me because I want to like have all my stuff kind of done before her so I can like focus on her wedding the first half of the year.
Right.
And then like after I can just have like a little bit of time to just chill, you know, and like focus on like my bachelorette trip and stuff.
Right.
So I want to get things done fast and like in advance, but we'll see how it goes. It's been good so far.
That's awesome.
I think. I
Yeah.
mean, I just haven't really done a lot of like focus on it.
Yeah.
So.
I feel like, Heather, you can probably speak on this too. Like in the beginning, once you get your venue booked and you pick a date, like you're so excited and ready to hit the ground running, but it's like, actually, you can't do much right now.
No.
Like there's not a lot you can actually do.
You like book your venue and then you have a pause from like that time to like a certain time where you actually start planning.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're like a little bit anxious to get moving on it. You want to start planning, but
Exactly.
there's nothing to do.
Exactly. So
hard.
yeah, it's been good. I mean, like I feel a lot less now that I feel like a lot of the pressure has been kind of taken off.
That's
Like,
awesome.
yeah. So that's
Good. That's a good place to be with it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of weddings and all things wedding, there has been a very huge wedding in the media. I'm sure you guys have seen the Olivia Culpo wedding dress.
Yeah.
Everything. How do you guys feel?
You know what? I feel like this is I don't know. I feel like it's hard for her because, you know, I've seen both sides.
Right.
So there's a TikTok where they're like, okay, imagine if you had a wedding and everyone's just slandering your wedding and like everything you chose to do, like it is a little bit hurtful.
For sure.
But again, like she is in the public eye, so I don't know how she wasn't prepared to deal with these hurtful comments that people are coming out with.
Right.
Because like I've seen her replies and like comments back to people and I'm like, did you not expect that people were gonna like bash you? Like you've been in the public eye, you know?
I feel like that's like PR 101.
Yes.
Like you kind of can't give the response. You can't put fuel on the fire.
I agree. And you know what? I'm like, she has said multiple times, like, this is the wedding of my dreams, like what I've dreamed of. And like, if that's the case, I feel like you got to put all the noise behind you.
Right.
Like, whatever anybody says, it's not going to change, you know, your day and your experience. And if it was special to you and it's everything you wanted, like, if I were her, I wouldn't get upset by the noise. You
Right.
know? I'd block it out probably.
Yeah.
Because
it's your wedding. You want to look back with fond memories.
Yeah,
You
and
don't
you're
want to think about the haters.
in your honeymoon phase, you
Yeah.
know? And like, yeah, everyone's going to have their opinions. Like my opinion, like I wouldn't personally pick the dress that she picked.
Right.
And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh my God, it like comment every opinion that I have on it. But like I personally, that would not be my choice.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's okay for people to say.
Yeah.
Because she is in the public eye. you
Yeah.
know?
So Heather, you know her more through like pageant world,
I
right?
do. I had a very short stint in the Miss USA pageant circuit and met a lot of wonderful people through that. That was my favorite experience about it, was just the friends that I made through it. But I did go to Miss USA when Olivia was Miss Universe, and it
So
was
cool.
actually the Miss USA when the Jonas Brothers were performing.
Ooh.
So that was
Flex.
when
Yeah.
she met Nick Jonas, as
Yeah.
far as I know through the pageant
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of wild that you were kind of there and then all that materialized afterwards. But
That's so funny.
obviously they've gone their separate ways now and they're both very happy. But I was not surprised by what Olivia chose for her wedding because I think she has such a royal presence about her. Like she does have this regal vibe about her that I thought that she would probably have a royal wedding.
Yeah.
So I was not surprised by that. And also I think pageant girls, once they've done all the glitz and glam, I also have seen a lot of pageant girls kind of want to take out the glitz and glam of their
that's
wedding
true.
dress.
They've had it for so long.
I have seen that.
Yeah.
And so
That's a good point.
I thought the venue in Rhode Island was beautiful. I especially loved her outdoor photos.
Yeah.
The hydrangeas,
Yeah, the hydrangeas were
die
stunning.
Yeah.
For. I've never seen hydrangeas like that
Yeah,
before.
I agree.
So I thought she very much channeled her own vibe.
Yeah.
And I think this goes for every bride, like regardless of what anyone says, like if it is true to you and what you love, nothing else matters.
That's how I feel.
And
Who cares after that?
So
Exactly.
I think her and her team did a great job of making it a beautiful, cohesive event. They all looked incredible.
Yeah.
It looked like it was extremely well executed. I mean, I always enjoy talking with my friends that are in the wedding industry about the big time weddings like that
Right.
too. And
Yeah.
And there's just so much that goes into the planning and preparation and the production of an event that size. So, I mean, that was months and months and months of planning. And just to even the creation of her dress would have taken a long time. And I mean, was it my all-time favorite wedding dress? No, it wasn't. But I thought it was very true to her. She looked gorgeous. Yeah. She would look beautiful regardless whatever she wore. Yeah. So I still thought she looked like royalty. Yeah.
I think that the dress itself, that's like the big thing on the internet now. It's like you love it or hate it. I think the dress itself was a beautiful dress. Would I pick it? No, I wouldn't.
That's how I feel.
I didn't love how the fabric didn't really move. You could tell she couldn't raise her arms and like. But I understand I understand her idea of wanting to be more conservative for her ceremony. Totally get that. Yeah. What I don't like, and people may come for me for saying this, and I don't care. I don't like her trying to like be on her soapbox and be like, oh, it's such a serious commitment. I have to be so covered up. And so it's so serious. Totally. That's great. If you believe that, that's awesome. But then you also can't wear underwear to your after party as your dress and a see-through bubble skirt.
And I think,
and claim that you were so modest and serious 2 hours ago.
And I think that's why the internet is having an issue with the dress. It's not necessarily the dress itself. It's like the stuff behind it.
It's the juxtaposition.
Yes, exactly. And like, again, I'm just like, it's such a hard situation because it's like,
it is.
That's how if that's what she wants to feel, like if that's what she wants to feel about her wedding day, you know, and then maybe like the day after, like she doesn't want to feel that way anymore, but it's just a little bit contradicting.
I agree.
That's it.
And like we said, if that's the dress she loves and she feels good about it, good for you, girl. I'm sure people won't like my wedding dress, and that's okay.
I also just think like, it's crazy to me. The craziest part about this whole thing is her commenting back to people. Yeah. Because you went on Vogue and did an interview. Like, no shit, people are going to, like, come for you and, like, have opinions, you know? Absolutely. So that is the only thing I have to say. Like, wonderful job on the wedding, all of it. But, like, you're on your honeymoon, like, replying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little more smack. But the eyelashes, I'm not over it. Because again, it's just so contradictory. Just be an open girl. Be honest and be true to who you are. So there was a comment that she said, like, I didn't really feel like wearing mascara or doing crazy makeup for my wedding. And that's okay. That is totally fine. That's like Alex Cooper. She looked stunning at her wedding. She did such a light look. She didn't wear mascara. But you can't go out and claim that you are being like so natural when you got, a lash lift and a brow lammy and tinted and like, you have to admit to that stuff. Like, exactly. Yeah, I wanted a more natural look, so I got a lash lift. Exactly. Not, I wanted a natural look, so I didn't wear mascara. Like, that's just so misleading to me.
I don't know if we're surprised because I feel like from what we've seen with the Copel family, like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if I'm honestly shocked. Yeah. Like, I think, I don't know.
I feel like it's the same vibe of being like, yeah, I don't do anything. I don't get plastic surgery, but like you get Botox. Exactly. It's like saying like, oh my God, yeah, no, I would never get plastic surgery, but like your face doesn't move. Yeah, exactly. Like it's the same thing.
I know. I think that's why people are coming for her. I really do. I don't think it's just like the wedding dress. People are like, it's ugly. It's like the stuff that is being said behind it. You know what I mean?
And I'm being a little bit of a hater, and I'm sorry. I think that she looked beautiful. Yeah. But
I also wish that like all of this didn't overshadow the rest of her wedding stuff because I feel like I have yet to see like a lot of the architecture and like florals behind her wedding. All I've really seen is like this wedding dress drama, and I'm like, it's just sad because I'm sure everything else was so beautiful, and like
it's so
most
true.
People aren't seeing it because of all the drama.
And that's one tiny detail, like Heather said. There's months and months of planning that goes into every other detail.
Like I would have loved to seen like so much more details about the wedding, but that's kind of what's overshadowing on my like algorithm. But
yeah, I will say I did look up that lash lift video, and apparently it took 4 hours for that lash lift.
You're kidding.
I'm dead.
I'm not joking. I have no idea how that even works, but I was really impressed with the girl's work. Yeah. It's beautiful. Her company's Yumi Lashes. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But I, first of all, thought whatever lash serum these girls are on, I want it.
Add to cart. Yeah, seriously.
Add to cart. Because clearly this girl knows what she's doing when it comes to lash lifts. Yeah. And I personally thought, I was like, you know what? I don't want to spend the money on lash extensions. They just don't last for me. Yeah. I love the way they look on everyone else. So I'm not going to lie. After the whole lash lift thing, I did book a lash lift.
She's like, hashtag sponsored. It worked. She's like, I was targeted and it worked.
Yes. So I booked a lash lift.
I don't know. I feel like there's so much controversy behind it. I think she should enjoy her honeymoon and her honeymoon phase and just, you know.
Yeah. And I think that is going to happen regardless. Whoever you are, you will have opinions about your wedding
Absolutely.
from beginning to end. And I remember someone told me, I just didn't expect you to pick that dress. And yeah, that was kind of rude.
Weird. Yeah.
But also I just thought, why would I care what you think? Are you the person wearing
And
the
thank
dress?
goodness you have that
so
mindset.
it was just that sort of thing where it was like, I think regardless of whatever wedding, you have to know that you are making the choices based on your personal style and the professionals that are giving you the advice. And so at some point you do have to just put a filter on all the opinions coming at you and recognize what matters and what doesn't.
You have to close the bubble.
Yeah.
It's very true.
All right. Well, let's go into our segment about questions for Heather, and we're going to play a little game at the end.
Yes.
Okay, Heather, we want to pick your brain on all things wedding.
Yes.
My first question to you is, what do you think is the most difficult part about being a bride and the wedding planning process? That's a good one.
She toots her own horn. She's like, that was a great question.
Just give us the answer to everything right now.
Yeah.
I think that it goes off of what Ashley said of you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And so there is this whole arc of emotions when it comes to you're finally engaged and now it's the excitement of planning. But then like once you open Pandora's box and you realize there's so much that goes into it, from logistics to, I mean, the price tag shock.
Yeah.
Oh
on
my
things
gosh, we
now
could do a
is
whole episode on that.
astronomical.
Yeah.
Yes, and then just the logistics that go into things as well, on top of just waiting on RSVPs and trying to figure out layouts of floor plans and then timelines. That's something that most people have never had to deal with before is the timeline of a wedding. And then you are coordinating an entire team of vendors throughout that day.
Yeah.
So that's also where most people, I don't think, recognize how important it is to have a wedding planner, because there's such a wealth of knowledge for you from the very beginning. They're going to be your bestie through this entire journey, but they're also going to be the ones that make that day happen, because I think people think that it's all just going to flow and be fine, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes on a wedding day. And part of that as a planner is putting out fires that the bride will never know about.
It's so true.
And it's so important. And one of the best compliments that I've ever received when I'm working weddings is the bridesmaids coming up to me and saying, you know, I had no idea. I had no idea what all went on behind the scenes. I've only seen a fraction of what you've been doing and the communication you've been doing with the vendors, from the videographers and photographers, and you have to make sure that you're coordinating and that you're all where everyone needs to be at that time, while also making sure that reception is set and ready, and cocktail hour is ready after ceremony, and then lots of details moving around and all of that. So it's really nice. I love those compliments when it's just that little bit of recognition of thank you for all that you do. And I just didn't realize how much went on behind the scenes. And so it's always the ultimate compliment then too when a friend or a bridesmaid says like, I'm getting engaged, can I book you?
Right. Because they see it.
They trust you. And it's so much of a friendship too. And they have to be able to confide in you too. Like, you know, my mother-in-law is driving me crazy, or like, where is my purse? Like, can you please make sure that my lip is always applied and that my lip always looks good for pictures and things. So, and that's something too, that as a photographer, you're working so closely as a planner with a photographer and making sure that the bride looks her best from every single angle. And so something I'm doing as a planner too is also helping adjust the wedding dress for the bride, and just making sure, you know, if it's something like her shoulder's too far forward, like want to help her pull it back. So just there's all these little details throughout the day that you are just trying to help the bride, and you're treating that day as if it was your own wedding, and you want her to just be so in the moment and be able to enjoy it and then look back on it with only positive memories.
It's so crazy how much goes into it.
No, it's insane. Like, I've never done like obviously wedding planning or anything of that caliber, but I've done somewhat of event like planning, execution planning with an old job that I had. There is so much. It's like you said, you constantly have to be like, okay, what's happening now? needs to be going off at this 3, 2, 1 go.
Yeah.
And you also need to be prepared for the next 45 minutes of activities that are about to happen. Like, are the chairs set up so that when we exit here to go to cocktail hour, are they already playing music over there? Is the so many
much.
details that you would never even think about. It's crazy.
Yeah. And you also have to be ready to pivot too.
Yes.
Like I worked a wedding where we could not find the mom of the bride.
OMG.
I'm dead.
It was like
mom.
all of us on our headsets, and we were like, "Where's the mother of the bride?" And she was in this bright blue dress, and no one could find her.
Oh my gosh!
And so it was just one of those things
little
where it's like
things,
everything got delayed a little bit, and so then we pivoted the timeline, so then we could adjust for that. And so it's all those things, and then too something that most people don't think about that's not fun but important is contracts. And holy cow, did 2020 teach us how important contracts were when it comes to wedding planners and protecting your bride and your couple, and also your vendors. I mean, I love my friends that are in the wedding wedding community, and I want to make sure that they're protected too. So it's all these things when it comes to contracts and logistics and even noise ordinances. Like you would not think of noise ordinances. That's something I didn't know about until I started working in the industry. And a lot of places, if you're in a beautiful place, they usually have a noise ordinance. And so then you've got to consider that as well.
That's been my absolute downfall. In Lake Como, there's, as of 2024, which is a whole nother thing, but as of 2024, there's a noise ordinance 24/7. You can't go above, I believe it's like 68 decibels, which is like a restaurant.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, what about the live band that I already booked and paid for? Like, we have 7-piece band. So what are they going to do? Like, I'm just going to sit there. And so that became a huge thing. And like, you're trying to get, permits to be able to have noise up until sometimes it's like only 9 p.m. And then you have to go inside, and it's
like stuff you
a
don't
whole
think
thing.
about.
But the contracts is such a big part of it too, because we signed our contract in 2023.
Yeah.
And the noise ordinance didn't go in effect until 2024. So we're finding these like little loopholes where we're thankfully able to get around, because truth be told, I love my venue, but I wouldn't book it again because of the noise ordinance. And there's been so many things that have become so difficult and so expensive, and it's hard to get to, and it's going to be gorgeous. I'm excited. Not like these are all champagne problems, but it's just the people that live in Como don't want wedding venues. Like it's such a big wedding spot now, and they don't want it to be. Like, yes, it brings in tourism, which is great for their like economy, but it's too loud. They don't want the fireworks. Like, it's a whole thing.
And that's where a planner is also so essential, because
They'll
the planner is helping guide you, but also trying to think 2-3 steps ahead of situations and all of that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say one thing that I'm definitely facing right now, like you said, is like the sticker shock of things. There is so many hidden price tags.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Like, you think once you've booked like your venue, caterer, florist, like you're pretty much good. Like, I'm good. Oh no, you have to book security. Here's another XYZ amount of money. Oh, you need to cleaning staff. Oh, there's another, here's the invoice for that. Oh, you need to have, and they're just like, when do the invoices stop coming?
That kind of leads me into my next question. I feel like a lot of people, when I first started planning a wedding, I didn't really know where to budget what. What do you feel as a wedding planner is most important to least important of spending money on versus being like more frugal about?
So something that I was very passionate about when I got married 5 years ago was getting this look for less. So I kind of ended up going this bougie but on a budget route, and I learned a lot of things on how I could cut prices but also get the look that I wanted for less. And so something that I knew is the planner, she was going to really help me, and so I was willing to pay for that. I was willing to pay for a photographer, and you always want to make sure your top 3 you want to book first are your venue, your photographer, and your planner. And so one thing I considered when I was looking at my venue, my husband and I got married out in California, and we were looking at different dates, and there were, I don't know, no one was doing it at the time, but I just was talking with the coordinator of the venue, which is different than a wedding planner. And you usually have both. But I was talking with her, and she was telling me the price differences for days, and I was just shocked that it was thousands of dollars a difference between getting married on a Saturday or a Sunday and then a Friday or even a Thursday. And so I just thought, well, what do I care? We're all traveling anyways.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want to save thousands of dollars and get married in the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I viewed it too. We were doing a destination wedding. We knew it was going to be a smaller group of people. And then it also gave the loved ones that traveled with us to be able to have more of a vacation experience too.
Yeah.
So we viewed it like that they made more of a 4-day weekend to a week trip out of it.
Right.
But that saved us so much money. We used the linens that were from the venue. They did have chairs that we were able to rent from them. That also saved us some money there. And then we were able to repurpose some of our florals.
Oh, cool.
Too. And so just even, I did make my own invitations.
Oh,
and
wow.
I think that that's something that's more popular now that you
Yeah.
have resources online
Yeah.
that you can create from beautiful templates. So it was just things. And honestly, I served my guests chicken. I didn't care. I was like, it's going to be the best chicken you've ever had.
It's going to be absolutely delicious, and your view is going to be insane.
And if there was anyone that made a fuss about it, like, yeah, my dad got steak. And so
Yeah.
it was just those
Yeah.
sort of things
Yeah.
where it was like, you cut where you could, but it still looked beautiful.
Right.
And one fun thing that I did then that I've only heard a couple other times now is that I also gifted my bridesmaids their hair and makeup.
Oh, that's
And
sweet.
So instead of gifting them like an embroidered bag that they
Yeah.
Might not
you
ever
know,
use.
Yeah.
might not ever use, I thought that was a nice way to say thank you for traveling
Yeah.
out here and
I
pay
like
for
that
their
a
hair
lot.
beauty.
Me too.
That's
Really
a really
nice.
cute gift
Yeah.
because I think sometimes that's another cost for the bride,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
price tag,
Yeah,
another
it's
invoice.
expensive.
And it's like sometimes junk. Like I've definitely gotten, I got a robe for one wedding that I love. I literally wear it every day.
Yeah.
But then sometimes it's like a t-shirt that says bride tribe. And you're like,
You're
okay,
I'm not
well,
gonna wear that
I
again.
don't
Yeah.
need it. And you wasted
Exactly.
probably $100 for all of these t-shirts. So that's actually a really great
Yeah.
thing to gift.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we also gifted our groomsmen their suits. So
Oh,
we
that's
got
so
our
nice.
linen
Cool.
suits. We went through ASOS and got them for crazy cheap.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
And so that's the thing too. Like now you can use Google Lens. You can take a picture, screenshot the look that you like, and go on Google Lens and then search that image.
Yeah.
And then it will give you options. Then you can shop from there and find the look for less. So that's something
awesome.
I'm really passionate about is helping
Yeah.
girls get this beautiful cohesive look. Like help them get the wedding
Yeah.
of their dreams without breaking their budget. So
Yeah.
and the bank account, so then they can't afford a home.
Right.
Exactly.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so true.
It really is.
Yeah. And like I've kind of said that to a few like patients and friends and things. I'm like, if you're not dead set on having a big wedding, and you like a lot of girls picture that from the time
Yeah.
they can open their eyes. If you're not dead set on it, my joke is always go elope and then buy a house.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because
Yeah.
this is so much money
It's
and
so much
so much
money.
stress and so much work, like you said. Like if you're not dead set on the big picture of everything, go buy a house.
Yeah.
So much money. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Okay, next question that I have for you, Heather. I want to know what trends that you like, what gives you the wedding ick? What do you see happening at weddings that you're like, oh my God, if I see a flash mob one more time, I'm going to die?
I've just seen a few pictures of it recently, and I don't know. I just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the cake table that is all of this fabric like mounted up
I
to
know
the
what
cake.
you're talking about.
And then
yeah.
it's like bows and flowers, and it. So I believe that things have been minimalism, and now
Yeah.
they're
Hitting max.
pendulum swinging over to maximalism. And,
sure.
But I do not get that cake table at
Yeah.
all. It looks like a load of laundry to me with a
I'm
cake on top.
trying.
I don't
It's
get
so
it at
true.
all. But I like more of
dead.
a minimal look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the one that I don't get. I do love the utilizing beautiful spaces that already exist. And so I think that the organic feel
Yeah.
of a lot of designs where they're utilizing nature, and then even the florals have more of like a wildflower vibe to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that it feels less just so poised and perfect.
Right.
It feels like it has more of an organic flow to it, and it just has more of a relaxed vibe where it seems like I think people are becoming more interested in celebrating with their friends and family and not making it maybe just a a show of flash of look
Yeah.
at
Right.
look at all that
Yeah.
Yeah.
we can do here with all this money and pomp. And so I really love the events that are about creating this incredible celebration to celebrate a marriage and celebrate their love and to also honor the friends and family that helped them get there.
Yeah.
And so that's why I love the smaller weddings too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of couples just don't realize that you've never experienced a day like this before, where you are surrounded by all of your friends and family. And one of my favorite one-liners from a groomsman was he got the mic and he got up there and he said, "I feel like this is the biggest game day of my life."
I did.
And he pointed to his bride and he said, "And I won."
Aw.
And I tried to tell them, like,
Yeah.
you've never experienced anything like this,
Yeah.
with the emotional overwhelm. And there's such a pull on your heart too, because you want to give all of that time to every single person there, and you can't do it. And so that's the benefit too of having a smaller, more intimate event, because then it does give you the opportunity to spend that much more time with each individual person at your wedding. And there's also grace for that. Like, your friends and family get it. They've all gone to weddings before. They know that the bride and groom are pulled in every direction. And so it's just important that you try to be as present as possible and give yourself grace in that.
For sure. Yeah.
So I feel like the trend thing is leading into our little game, but like, yay or nay on certain trends.
I was
that are-
thinking too, like, when you start planning your wedding, I was like your classic bride. Like, I was
Yeah.
like, I want white flowers and white tablecloths.
Yeah.
Like, and my wedding planner was probably like twitching. And it got to the point where recently my florist, who lives in Italy, and they're so blunt,
Yeah.
she was like, "Can you do something more creative than white
I
roses?"
feel like
and I was
you-
like, "Oh,
yeah, like you
you're
start
so
minimalistic,
right."
but then you see all these trends and you're like, you want to like grasp onto them.
And the vendors really love the trends because they do
Yeah.
white roses
Yeah.
6 times a day.
Like right now, I feel like I am freaking obsessed with like the bow trend for
Yes,
weddings.
yeah.
What do you feel? Yay or nay?
Yeah, I do love
You
the
like
bows.
that?
Yeah.
Okay,
think it's so cute.
But like, do you think it's gonna go out fast though?
A year or two.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, a trend is a trend for a reason. Like, they come in and they go out, but I think a bow will always be
I think it's so cute.
I
Yeah.
think
like
it's
it.
so
And that's
cute.
an easy, cheap way to add decoration
I
and add
agree.
flair or add a
Yep,
color.
like the champagne glasses.
Yes.
Like, so cute. What about the champagne glass fountain that's coming
Yes,
back?
it's so coming back with a vengeance.
Some people
Yes.
aren't even doing a cake; they're just doing the champagne
Yeah,
pour.
Yeah.
I like the champagne
You do?
tower, but
Okay.
I do too. I think
that
it's really
is something
cute.
where, ooh, man,
It's just classic. It's
Yes,
it's
it's
old
cool.
money classic vibes.
Yeah, it's
you
so
know?
I'm
cute.
not gonna lie, it does make me nervous though, because I have seen the video
Yes.
where the bride
It,
like
like,
went to go, like, please just don't do it.
Just don't take a
Don't
sip.
ever take a sip of the top one, because
Yeah.
it will crash down.
London
Like,
Bridge
don't
is
do it.
falling down.
Yes, just be sure that you take directions well and then follow those directions
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're doing a champagne
It's so
tower.
true.
Don't go for the cute kissing photo in the top glass unless you want it all coming down.
It's so true. One trend that I'm loving right now, which you kind of talked about, is like the whimsical look of
Yeah.
flowers.
Yes.
Like the less like static, like you said, where
Yes.
it's not just a bouquet of white roses.
Yeah.
It's like has movement and shape, and like
Yeah.
I love that. That's one of my favorite trends right now.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Oh, I heard another wedding planner say this on TikTok. What are your feelings on like a monogrammed dance floor? Do you have any?
I don't know. I feel
What do you
pretty
think?
neutral towards
Like
it.
either like a wedding logo or like your
Yeah.
initials or something like
Oh.
that on the dance floor.
I like when the couple does something fun with the dance floor. I do like a monogram. That is
Yeah.
something too that is going to be an extra cost.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think it's cool when the couple makes a unique monogram, and if they incorporate that
Yeah.
all throughout the wedding,
It's fun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So I think again too, it like all goes with the vibe of the wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if that is the cohesive look of,
Yeah.
with that monogram, then I think it's cool. I
Yeah.
mean, if you spent money on that, you better incorporate that everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
That's so true. It's
No,
so
it
true.
was so funny because we just did that, literally like signed the invoice. And then the next day on TikTok, this wedding planner's like, I hate monogram dance floors. It's overdone.
I'm done.
Everyone does it. And I'm like, perfect.
You're like, but your monogram is good.
I love our monogram.
Yes,
it
like,
is
you
like,
look at-
I'm pretty
and
sure I
it
got
matches
it
the
on
vibe.
Etsy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
does.
fun. I love it. I don't regret it at all. But it was just so funny because everyone has such
Everyone
strong
has
opinions
such
about everything.
opinions
It's
about it.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the trend that I absolutely can't stand is like the overdone veils. I love a classic white veil. I hate a sparkly veil. I hate like pearls in the veil. I hate
I
the
agree.
extraness of like a very like I don't know. I just want it to be classic.
Yeah, I don't love like pearls or rhinestones or anything on the veil, but I love a long
Yes.
veil. Like
Me
when
too.
it's
Like
12
dramatic.
feet
Yes.
behind her,
Yeah.
it's still inside when she's walking down the aisle. I'm like, oh,
I
that's
love,
stunning.
yeah, like it's so just classic.
Yeah.
You know? But I hate when you start messing with like the classicness of a veil. Like I just don't like that trend. I feel like it just looks like meh, and then it goes out so quick.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I
Yeah.
agree.
So-
When I saw the short veil trend starting, I like kind of like had my heart break a little bit. I'm like,
Yeah.
I love a long veil, and I
too.
love playing with it for
Yeah.
pictures, and the movement
Yeah.
of it is so pretty.
It is.
Okay,
I
what
agree.
about candles or flowers?
Ooh, that's a good one. How do you feel?
Everybody has such a strong opinion. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, candles are cheaper. They're both freaking expensive.
They are.
Yeah,
Literally.
I mean, I feel like you see a good assortment of both at most
Yeah.
weddings.
Yeah.
I did work a wedding where it was only candles, and we had to set up the candles. And
Yeah.
it was like
That's enough to make you
600.
hate it.
Yes, yes. So it was like, honestly, it depends on the event. If you
Yeah.
ask me if I love it or hate it, it was like by the end of that one, I kind of hated it.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
looked
Absolutely.
really cool.
When you're having
and
to light the
modern.
candles,
Yeah.
I would hate
Yeah,
it too.
yeah.
I love, if I could have no flowers and all candles, I would do it.
Yes.
But my venue doesn't let me.
Yeah.
See,
we
that's
can't
mine
have
too.
one.
Mine is no flame. No
Yeah.
open flame.
No open
it's like,
flame.
okay.
But
like,
I like a tablescape that's just like not
Yes.
thousands, but just like huge amounts of candles down the middle. I think that is so stunning and romantic
I agree.
and gorgeous. And my venue's like, nope, try again.
Yeah.
What about sorry, there's so many, but
I know.
bridal parties not standing up with the bride and groom.
Oh yeah.
What do you think? Yay or nay?
I think it depends on the look that you like for pictures. So that's something too. You need to think about what pictures do you have on your inspiration
Yeah,
board.
that's true.
Yep.
Because like if you have like a good detailed backdrop and
Yeah.
you want that to be like, you know,
Yeah.
focused on, you're not gonna want like people standing up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's part of it. When I got married, we had all the bridal party up there with us still.
Yeah.
And I honestly just didn't want to pick and choose between our friends. And
Right.
Yeah.
my husband and I have been together since we were in high school.
Yeah.
And so we had a massive bridal
Yeah.
party.
Right.
Yeah.
And to be honest, those pictures can look like too much pretty
Yeah,
quickly.
yeah.
So you have to have a photographer that can create a really beautiful portrait
Yeah.
shot, and that I think creates dimension with
Yeah.
people standing, sitting, and all of that, and makes it look like almost a
Yeah.
cool Vogue shot.
Right.
Otherwise, you're doing a lot of the shots where people are walking
Yeah.
in the background with you. So I do, from that sense, I do like the no bridal party standing up with
Yeah.
the couple,
Yeah.
because I also have worked the weddings where a groomsman goes down and
Yeah. Oh my
passes
gosh.
out, and because people have locked their knees
Yeah.
and all of that, and depending on the heat and everything
Yeah.
too, so
Yeah.
it can be
Just
a long
depends,
time
yeah.
to have your bridal
Yeah.
party standing up there. So it just depends. Again, too, you've got to think of the logistics of that. So
Yeah.
I like the trend of still doing pictures with your bridal
Yeah,
party,
and
'cause
then
I think
having them
that's so
sit
important.
I
when
agree.
you go up. Like they
Yeah.
can walk down the aisle, but they sit in the
Yes.
front
Yep.
row.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then the whole bridal party could still sit with you at reception
Exactly.
too,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
have like
Yeah.
an entire banquet table. So
I like that better too. I feel like it's just more clean in photos. I love the trends. I feel like I am always leaning more towards like I don't want to do a first dance. Like I don't want to do all the speeches. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a lot, and I like that the trends kind of make that more acceptable because I feel like a lot of the older generation is like, what? Like you're taking that out or you're taking
Yeah.
that out, but it's like I don't know. Now with all the wedding trends, it's like so much more acceptable. Just do whatever you want.
It's so true.
You know?
Yeah.
And about the like bridal parties too, it really depends on what you value more, your pictures or your experience.
Yeah.
Because personally, we're not having bridal party. No one up there with us. It's just us two. Because to us, it's important that
Yeah.
it's
Just
our
us
wedding,
two.
it's our
Yeah.
marriage, and we love that.
Yeah.
But I've also been in my best friend's wedding where I got to stand up there with her, and just thinking about it gives me
Chills,
goosebumps. Like
yeah.
getting to be there while your best friend commits to this
Yeah.
amazing journey ahead of them. Like it's so special. So it's really what you value more, like having your friends and family right there next to you during this big
Yeah.
moment, or
I
if you want the
agree.
beautiful pictures. Like it sounds vapid, but like I chose the pictures, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that those are stunning, and I'll look at those for the rest of my life, and all my friends and family will be right in front of me.
I agree with you. I think it's all about like what you want
Yeah.
out of your
Yeah.
experience, you know?
For sure.
But yeah, I just like talking about things weddings just get
It's
me
so exciting.
excited.
Do you have
And
any icks that like really throw
my
you off?
icks, I think like I said, I hate the order that has to be done in a wedding. Like I hate like, you know, like your dad has to walk you down the aisle. You have to do a first dance. You have to do speeches. You have to have like, I hate the have tos. Like I want to do what like I feel like I want to do. And I don't want to feel like I'm being judged for taking things out, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot. Like the garter.
Oh my gosh,
like,
the garter toss is not happening.
Like,
no.
I just don't like those things. I just want everyone to come together.
Yeah.
It's a fun time. We're all gonna like have fun, eat, drink. Like that's what I would want my wedding to be.
Yep.
And I just feel like all the extra stuff is just a lot. You know?
That was my biggest stressor when I first started wedding planning, is being like, I want my wedding to be so authentic to us and so like every detail to be either emotional or like connect to us in some way. And it overwhelmed me truly, because I was like, how do I think of all these beautiful details that I want? But that's what it came down to, is the moments of like, that means nothing to me.
Yes.
It means nothing to me to take this picture. It means nothing to me to do a garter toss. Like, get rid of it. And a lot of, like you said, older generations, our parents, our family, our in-laws, whatever,
They can't
they're
understand
like,
it.
You can't get rid of that.
Yeah.
We have to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
that's like my mom.
no, it means nothing to us as a
I
couple.
agree.
So why would we do it?
And like Alex Cooper is a leading, like she did it so well. She took out so much stuff.
She did, yeah.
And like she had so much reasoning to why she took things out that I'm like, I literally look up to her in her wedding, because I feel like it was wonderfully done and she stayed true to like her and her husband.
Yeah.
And what they wanted to do versus like what everybody else wanted to do.
And
you
I
know?
think that's so beautiful, because that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, it's
Exactly.
about that couple
Yeah.
and their journey into life and their journey so far. And I just think that's so special. Yeah.
Okay.
Yay.
Leading into our book section.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about books.
What are we reading, Ashley?
I am jumping back and forth. I have made the executive decision that I'm not going to jump back into fantasy books until after the wedding. I don't have enough brain space or power or intellect. Honestly, I have 2 brain cells left at the moment. And I just finished This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune, that you guys reviewed 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So good. Such a good summer book. Light, fluffy, contemporary romance. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so cute. So I just finished that, and I'm going back to Chestnut Springs. I'm going to do the 4th book in that series.
I'm so excited.
So I finished the 3rd book, which I think it's called Powerless.
Yeah.
My cowboy romance. It's so good, so cute.
Yeah.
It's exactly
It's,
what
like,
I
light,
need
fluffy,
right now.
yeah,
It
yeah.
keeps me happy. It's fluffy. It's spicy.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I need to consult with Carly on this. Like, the 3rd one was maybe my favorite.
That's what everybody says.
It's so good.
That's what Carly said too. She said, I think that's her favorite one.
Yeah, I loved it. It was everything I needed.
Yeah.
It was everything I needed.
What are you reading?
I am on Empire of Storms right now, of the Throne of Glass.
Throne of Glass,
series.
yeah.
And I
Ooh.
really like it.
So you're deep in fantasy right now.
Yeah, I have been sucked into the Sarah J. Maas universe, and
Yeah.
went
I love
through
it.
ACOTAR first, and then now I'm on Throne of Glass, and
Yeah.
I am a big fan of Aelin Galathynius.
Yeah.
She is my
I heard
Girl
she's
crush.
such a good character.
Yes.
Like she.
yes, I love her character development.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's cool.
I'm
What about
reading
you?
Drive. I don't know. I can't get into it. I
No.
just feel like I'm like kind of at a standstill with books again, which
Yeah.
it takes a lot for me to get into a book. I feel like you
It
know?
does. You're picky. You're
I'm
picky
very
about what you'll
picky.
even start.
Yes, like
much less what
you
you'll
have to
finish.
capture my attention in the first like 30%.
And
or-
you're so dark and twisty.
I know I am dark
Yeah,
and
you
twisty.
love a
so,
dark
like,
and twisty.
It's really hard for me to find a book that I like really really like. It all depends on like the vibe it gives and like the plot twists and like all the things. But yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
I was trying to find this picture on Instagram just now, but I can't find it. So I'm going to misquote the stats on this, but it was something that said Sarah J. Maas sold more than like 4 million books. Like more than like the person in second place. She
No
sold
way.
the most books this year, Sarah J.
That's
Maas.
crazy.
And it was by like 1 million. I'm probably misquoting that, but it was a huge number to go
Yeah.
to second place. Like she is just on fire right now.
That
It's
is
so
crazy.
cool to see. Like
I mean,
Wow.
she's like literally so creative, and
Yeah.
it's insane that she can build these worlds.
insane. And
Yeah.
like just it's funny how like people can connect through a book too, because
I
like that all
know.
comes from social media and talking about it.
Yeah.
And like that I think is one of the reasons we started this podcast, is like we love connecting people
Yeah.
through books. Like it's
Yeah.
just so fun. So it was really cool to see that like how big she's exploded right now.
Exactly.
Because these books are a couple years old.
Yeah.
Like it's just I don't know. I thought
Yeah.
that was really cool.
That's crazy.
Like the numbers.
Yeah.
That's insane. Also, I don't think we've talked about this on the pod yet. The cover came out for Onyx Storm.
I saw that. It was so good. Like I feel like
I-
it matched its vibe so much.
Yes, I'm so
Yeah.
Ooh, I
excited.
haven't even seen it yet. I
It's
need
I
to
have
like
some
very
theories.
dark.
So you've read both books, correct?
Yes,
And
love
them. Yeah.
so we've all read. I'm going to do a couple little spoilers into Iron Flame and Fourth Wing
Yeah.
and my conspiracies
Okay.
of Onyx Storm. So we have confirmed she's getting a second signet. She's like getting another power because she's got two dragons.
She has the 2 dragons, and yeah.
I was talking with a patient the other day. I have a theory that I made up in my head based on almost no fact. One of her dragons is going to die.
Oh gosh.
I think she's going to lose a dragon to get, and this is your spoiler, to save Xaden because he's currently Venom. I think she's going to have to sacrifice a dragon to save Xaden.
She's going to have to choose between one.
I think that's going to be, there's going to be some big story of how it's going to happen, but like that, it's going to come down to like maybe if Taryn has to go, that'll save Xaden.
I saw a crazy theory, and I like need to brush up on this, but the Vernon, the main Vernon guy, who is he again? They said that he was someone that they already knew.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'd have to look back, but I know what you're talking about. Yes,
really good theory too.
Ooh, there's also a theory about, I think it's his mom.
Yeah,
is like is gonna play into it somehow. Which is so exciting.
I'm so excited. It's going to be so good.
The cover looks so good. It has really smoke all over the front.
Yeah.
It's black. I like, what do we have guesses on what her second signet is?
I think it's going to be, I would love to say mind reading, but I don't think it's going to be that basic. I think it's going to be something that we haven't heard of yet. Am I mixing books? What is it called? Like Dormati? Is that a different book? Yeah, that's when like you can't have that signet. Like they'll kill you.
Right. That's what Dane had, didn't he?
Yeah. Okay. No, Dane is like if he touches you, he can read your mind. But
there was Dormati, or am I in Sarah J. Maas right now? I might be mixing them.
I think it's a Dormati. I think.
Okay.
But then there was another kid who actually could just hear people's thoughts, and
the
they got
mind
killed.
reading.
Yeah.
So I think he got killed.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be that or something really unique that we haven't heard of yet.
Yeah.
I do like that. Their signets are based off of their personalities, and so that's something that I've been trying to figure out. Like, okay, what about who Violet is,
right?
To make her second signet.
Like,
maybe it's something to do with like, what's the other, like the books? What do they call them? The scribe. Maybe it's something to do with being a scribe.
Oh,
like maybe it's something to do with that. I don't know.
I agree. That's
like
crazy.
The title being, I'm such a nerd on this right now, but the title's Onyx Storm, and they actually mention onyx a lot in the first 2 books, referring to Xaden's eyes. So I'm wondering, and like that was the thing that changed when she looked at Xaden and he was a Venom. Like
that's a really good.
It was his eyes that were different. And she looked and she's like, oh my god. So I'm wondering, like, it could be mind reading or something of like, I don't know. I think it might have something to do with the eyes.
There's for sure Easter eggs that we have to like pick up. That's crazy. I'm so excited.
Good. I am excited. I'm starting to read them through for the second time right now, and I was proud of myself that I did find the moment of, I believe, the first reference of Xaden's second signet, and so I was excited about that. I was like,
I forget that was too.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I haven't finished rereading Fourth Wing, but when I started it again, in the first chapter, there's an Easter egg to everything that happens.
That's why
it is almost explained the whole book in the first chapter. When you go back to it, it's actually crazy. I was like, oh,
I need to reread.
Like it was so funny the things you miss because you don't know what you don't know.
So crazy. Oh my gosh.
Okay, yay.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week.
Yes, thank you, Heather, for joining us and giving all the tips. And
so fun.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
But go ahead and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Send, share, subscribe, all the things.
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.